And so this is how my scarcity mindset would manifest in my life when it came to money. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mishra if you are new here. If you're not new here, welcome back. So today we're gonna dig a little bit into my scarcity mindset and what I'm gonna do to overcome my scarcity mindset and live a more abundant life. Just a little backstory, I guess. I grew up in a pretty average middle class family. We never wanted for anything. We never lacked anything really. At the same time, in our family, we never really discussed like money or personal finance. There's certain things that I do remember about money, like when we were younger, back when we used to have $2 bills here in Canada. My parents would have like a duffel bag that they would just like fill with their $2 bills, and that's what they would use to kind of like do family trips and that type of thing. So I do kind of like remember that when it comes to kind of like savings. But other than that, never really discussed money openly. But in my adult life, I still found myself with a scarcity mindset. And I think part of this is due to experiencing multiple job losses. And not just that, but it's kind of like when you have a family, I think that kind of like, for me at least, kind of triggered some of my scarcity mindset and kind of always wanting to have money. And so this is how my scarcity mindset would manifest in my life when it came to money. I would have money in my bank account. We would have savings, but then emergencies would come up. We would deplete our savings, try and build stuff back up. But I would have money in my bank account. And even though I had money in my bank account, there was something in the back of my head that always was like, what if something happens? What if there's another job loss? What if this big emergency comes up and you don't have savings? So because I would consistently be like that, sometimes instead of just using the money that was in my bank account, I would just use my credit card, because I knew that at the very least I could just pay minimum payments and I didn't have to worry about using all of my cash flow for whatever thing it was, whether it was emergency or not an emergency. So over the years, I would accumulate debt and not fully pay off the balance each month, which then that, minimum payment started to increase, and that kind of got me into a worse situation. But I would still always just kind of like keep some cash on hand because I was afraid. And that's basically kind of what it boils down to. I was just afraid of not having money in my bank account, something coming up, and me not being able to have the cash for whatever that thing might be. And then when it came to my credit card, I didn't have the discipline or even the resources really by that time when things would accumulate to pay off my credit card each month. And that is how, debt just started to kind of like balloon without me even kind of realizing it or trying to make any change. I've done a lot better over the years, but recently, even though, I'm making more money, I'm in a better situation now. Recently, with some of the major purchases that I've had to have, I've, depleted some of my savings, and I can feel that scarcity mindset kind of creeping right back in. And so I'm trying to kind of like deal with it now that I'm aware, kind of like of my previous habits, to try and change that. Here are 4 things that I'm doing to try and eliminate my scarcity mindset and live a more abundant life. So number 1, I want to start with gratitude. And so I am extremely grateful and thankful for everything that I have, because that's one thing I can say. It's like I have never gone without, even times when I did lose my job. God has always provided for me in those instances. And so yeah, I will forever be grateful, but sometimes we just kind of like forget, right? So I recently got a gratitude journal from, I work for a religious organization, and one of our donors had sent me a gratitude journal. So I want to start to implement that more in my daily routine, whether it's just like in the morning when I wake up, just to be grateful for the things that I do have, for the opportunities that I have received, be grateful for the additional income that I'm able to have by doing some of these side hustles. Just be grateful for the fact that I'm able to contribute to my retirement every month. So even though things may seem like tighter on a day-to-day basis, I am still providing for myself for my future. So just like bringing those things to light, being grateful for all those things that I have that some people just don't, right? So that's number one, to start off with gratitude. So number two is to set financial goals. And so I want to set goals that are specific, and I also want to set goals that have a timeline. So in my last video, I had mentioned that I want to start off by having $1,000 set aside in savings. So it's kind of like, okay, that's a nice goal. And I also wanted to be 1 month ahead. So those two goals are good goals, but it's like, how am I going to achieve those goals? By when do I want to have the $1,000 put aside? By when do I want to be 1 month ahead? And what's my strategy? Like, how am I going to make that happen in that time frame? So set goals would be very specific, and make sure that I'm setting attainable goals and not kind of like more than I actually have the capacity to do. Number three is to track my progress. So it's so easy day to day to kind of get lost and not realize how much progress you're actually making, or just to kind of be down on yourself because things may not be going the way you want. And so I have been tracking my net worth, but I stopped. I just kind of like fell off. So now I want to go back to doing that, so I can track how much savings I've accumulated, how much debt I've paid off, and just see what progress I'm making. And I feel like that will give me a little bit of motivation even just to keep going. And hopefully like seeing some of those positive things will help to reinforce a more abundant mindset. Number four, I want to focus more on abundance, like have a more abundant mindset. And so whether that's surrounding myself with people that have a more positive outlook when it comes to money, or just are in a more positive place when it comes to money. Also be more confident in my ability to manage money. So it's so easy to have the knowledge, but behavior is really a big part of personal finance, and whether we're successful or we're not successful. So just being more confident in my ability to manage my money. Then another thing that I want to do is I want to actually be able to start envisioning myself in that abundant lifestyle or that abundant mindset, and just envision myself in places and doing things that I may feel at this point are not attainable for me because of the scarcity mindset. So just trying to envision myself doing things or achieving things that really I am capable of doing. It's just sometimes just feeling like you're in a situation where that's just not going to happen for you. I'm not going to make this amount of money. I'm not going to be able to start this business. Just some of these scarcity things that we feel like we're being held back from these things. So just envisioning myself, putting myself in those places of the unknown or places of greater abundance. Those are basically the four things that I'm going to start with. I may try and have some affirmations that I look back on just to kind of like keep my mind in that mind frame of abundance. So just to recap, first, I'm going to start off with gratitude, being thankful and grateful for everything that I do have. Two, I want to set clear financial goals that have a timeline and are specific. Three, I want to track my progress so that I can monitor how I'm doing towards these goals. And then four, just focus more on an abundant mindset and living in abundance. So I know it's not easy. You can know about money, you can be financially literate, but the mind does not discriminate. So the brain, no matter what, you can still live in a scarcity mindset, even if you have all the tools, you have the money. It's just something that once we realize if that's the mindset that we're in, that we have to make some steps to be able to change that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share my video, leave me a comment, and let me know if you struggle with this, or maybe you don't struggle with this, or maybe you've struggled with it but you've overcame it. So if any of those things are you, please leave a comment and just kind of share with me some of your journey when it comes to your money mindset. Bye.